This video is about counters or say numbering in CSS. Let me take an example here. This one. Electronics and communication. I'm going to list out the courses. We do with H2 here. Computer science, electrical engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering. So this is how the page looks. Now all I want to do is provide numbers or counters here. So what we could do is in body, there is a property called counter reset. Now to this counter reset, I have to give a variable name. I could give any name. So I'm going to say counter1. Okay, so this is the variable name. So meaning this is one of the counters. So it will just hold 1, 2, 3 so far. And before the h2 tag, I'll say counter increment is this counter1. So increment this counter every time a h2 element comes over. So counter increment has to happen on this counter1, and if I don't give this, the counter won't happen. We'll see that. And then I'm going to say content. What is the content that's going to come before? That's going to be counter is the keyword. Within the keyword, I should say use this counter. There can be many counters, but I'm saying use this counter. So this is how it looks. But this doesn't look well, right? So what we could do here is we could add some text, course, then give a space here. See what happens. Course. Okay. I think we could also add a dot to make it more aesthetic. Okay. So this looks nice now. So this, if you see, the counter gets incremented. I'll explain it again. When it looks for the body for the first time, counter is basically initiated. So counter reset happens. So there is a new counter now. So inside, I mean, every time a h2 is being rendered, for every h2, increment this counter is what it says. And then in content, it says that course and then use this counter. And then the dot. So what if I don't have this counter? That won't increment at all. So initially it was 0 and then it was incremented to 1. And that is why when you use 1, we saw it here. We'll see how we can use multiple counters. Yes, I mean, this is just one counter, right? We might need multiple counters to be used in multiple places. We'll see how we can use that. So for that, we need to have multiple counters like this. Now I'm gonna H1 is engineering courses, H2 is this. Okay, let's say in H2, for every H2 counter reset, this time I'm gonna say a different counter 2. So this is a different counter. So the 1, 2, 3, all these numbers that holds here is different from this. So the counter reset happens the first time it encounters a H2. Now in H2 before, like say this is already happening, right? Inside every course, I want to give like a few topics. So h3, I'll say topic 1. Two and 3. Likewise, I'll give multiple topics to each. Okay. See how it looks. So we have this topic 1, 2, and 3, right? And then h2 before. So meaning this before is what happens. Likewise, I could say h3 before. h3 is this topics. I can again say counter increment, this time counter 2. And the content can be I can say topic and then the counter, then a dot. So topic, this text, and this the second counter, then the dot. So this counter incrementation and this counter incrementation is different. So we don't have to confuse it. So with separate variable holds different numbers. This is a separate variable holds different numbers. So whenever h2 is rendered, this counter increases, and that is what is used here. But when this counter is incremented, that is used here. So we'll see here one topic 1, 2, 3. Okay, instead of topic, I could say subsection. It's not confused with this topic. Okay, so that's what happened here. See if any padding can be applied. Okay, so there was a padding applied. Similarly, let's use a padding over here to make it look better, or let's make this 20 pixel and this one 40 pixels. Okay, see how it looks nice. At the same time, I didn't write the text at all, this text here, so I don't have to write it again and again. So this has been generated from CSS. It look even more better if I have something like 1.1, sorry, 1.1, 1.2 and 1.3. We could do that by using this counter. So if you use this counter here, what happens? So I'm just using this counter here and then the dot. It says 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. It makes more sense here, right? Then 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. So the first time, see the h2 when it renders, right? So the counter is 1 now, and then h3 is rendered as in it is showed in the browser. When h3 is rendered, counter 1 is still 1 there, so 1 dot. And then even for topic 2, the counter is still 1 because this is incremented every time h2 renders, but only one h2 has rendered. But when the second h2 renders, the increment happens to be 2 now, and then for the topic 1, 2 and 3, this counter is used. So you can achieve nested loop using this, and try to use as many combinations as you could do. I mean, like you have all the resources here, so you could use it as you need.